Okay, so we have now the stomach has finished its rotation around its longitudinal axis and its anterior-posterior axis. And now the dorsal mesogastrium is pointing caudally, as we can see here, or inferiorly, and the ventral mesogastrium is pointing cranially or superiorly. Now what's going to happen is that the greater omentum is going to start forming from the dorsal mesogastrium, or from the greater curvature, which is this structure here. So this part, this mesenteric part here, attached to the greater curvature, it just is going to start elongating, and is going to start growing and elongating in a caudal direction until it covers the small intestine in an apron-like manner, which is unique to the greater omentum. And in this way, the greater omentum is formed. And you see, as you can see, it forms in the unique apron-like manner that drapes over the small intestine, folds on its back, and goes upwards again. So now let's have a look at the same process, but we're going to look at a longitudinal section of the embryo. So we can see what's going to happen, how the greater omentum forms, but from a side view. So here we have introduced a longitudinal cut to the embryo, and we are looking from the side. So this is going to be our dorsal side. This is the ventral. And here is the cranial end and the caudal end. So what are these structures? This is our stomach. This is the transverse colon, and this is part of the small intestine. The stomach, the transverse colon, and the small intestine. And we are again looking at a side view. And as you can see, this is the transverse mesocolon, which is the mesentery of the transverse colon, attaching it to the posterior body wall in blue here. And this is the small intestine and its mesentery, which is called the mesentery proper, or the mesentery of the small intestine. This is the dorsal mesogastrium that is now going to grow downwards, forming the greater omentum. And we're going to see how this process works now. Okay, so as we said before, this dorsal mesogastrium, which is now pointing caudally after the rotations of the stomach. Okay, so this is the dorsal mesogastrium. So the dorsal mesogastrium, after the rotations of the stomach, is now pointing towards the caudal side, or the inferior side. Now it's gonna start growing in this direction. Okay, and I'm gonna demonstrate this growth now. So it's gonna start growing in a caudal direction until it drapes over or covers the transverse colon and the small intestine like this. Okay, notice that because of this growth, the apron-like appearance of the greater omentum. So this is our greater omentum now. Because of this downward growth, as you can see, the four-layered, actually not double-layered, but now four-layered appearance unique to the greater omentum is formed now. But here, notice how the greater omentum is still attached to the posterior body wall. But as we know, in the adult, the greater omentum is actually goes from the stomach to the transverse colon. Okay, so how does this happen? Actually, this part, these two folds of the greater omentum are going to fuse with the mesentery of the transverse colon, like this. Okay, so uh, the inferior leaf or the inferior folds of the greater omentum are going to fuse with the transverse mesocolon and the superior portion of the transverse colon in this manner, and also the folds that are going down and up of the greater omentum, they mostly fuse with each other and obliterate the space between them. Okay, and as you can see here, each fold is a double fold, which makes a total of 4 folds that are unique to the greater omentum. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, as you can see here. Okay, so this is how the 4-layered structure of the greater omentum comes to existence.